Welcome to China in Focus. I'm Tiffany Meyer. Our top story: American money is flowing into China's military. Lawmakers said they have the power to limit exports to China and block U.S. dollars from helping Beijing's military. But is it enough? A House panel breaks it down. Scientists saying stop the madness. Reports of China's new research on a mutant COVID-19 strain sparking concerns among experts and officials. TikTok getting sued again. Iowa is the latest U.S. state to face off against the social media app. More on the allegations officials are bringing. And 18 Chinese fighter jets soaring near Taiwan, marking the first major military activity by Beijing following Taiwan's presidential election. What's the message? From hypersonic missiles to surveillance tools and telecommunications tech, did American dollars make China's warfighting capabilities possible? Lawmakers on Capitol Hill are looking for a change as they investigate how American money flows to China's military. At a House Foreign Affairs meeting on Wednesday, they pointed out that Congress can enforce export controls, hampering China's access to critical technology. But export controls have limits.
Export controls alone don't provide a tool to prevent an American venture capitalist from saying, you know what, that's an interesting opportunity. I might not be able to ship a tool over to China, but I could invest $20 million in this upstart Chinese firm that's trying to build that same tool.
Peter Harrell is a fellow at the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace. He said Congress can't control American investors and that they may invest money in Chinese companies, which could ultimately benefit China's military. A previous report found that from January to March 2022, the U.S. okayed 92% of license applications for blacklisted Chinese companies. Examples include Chinese tech giant Huawei and SMIC, one of China's largest semiconductor makers. Both are tied to the Chinese military and are sanctioned by Washington. Harrell said that giving money to any Chinese company could potentially benefit China's military. He noted there's no corporate independence in China, and companies are obligated to help the Communist Party achieve its goals, even if those goals involve the alleged genocide of Uyghur Muslims and forced organ harvesting from religious minorities. Lawmakers brought up that giving money to China's military is especially dangerous right now, with China openly showing signs of aggression.
War is on Xi Jinping's mind. Less than a year ago, China held its annual two meetings, what they call them, the Lianghui. Xi Jinping gave 4 addresses to those to delegates to those 2 meetings. All 4 of them had the common theme of the need for China to prepare for war.
Matthew Pottinger served as Deputy National Security Advisor to former President Trump. He's now the China Program Chairman at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. Speaking to the committee, he proposed what he called a sectoral approach to restricting capital flowing to the Chinese military. That means instead of targeting individual companies investing in China, the U.S. should apply new rules to entire sectors of the economy, since Chinese firms often dodge U.S. regulations with their subsidiaries. When asked about which approach is more vital, Congressman Corey Mills told NTD that it's important to target both the entities and their sectors.
I think that it's really critical for us to look at why we shouldn't advance in things like hypersonic ballistic technologies with China that can utilize against us. But I also think that we should be targeting it on independent entities as well who are intentionally investing in these areas to strengthen our adversaries.
Lawmakers say Beijing is currently developing advanced technology. That's on top of building military mobilization offices across the country, air raid shelters across from Taiwan, and military hospitals. That infrastructure could also pose serious risks for America's safety in the event of a Taiwan invasion. News about China's research on mutant COVID-19 virus strain is sparking concerns. The strain called GXP2V is similar to a strain of virus that causes COVID-19. Chinese researchers tested it on mice, and within 8 days, they had died. Specifically, the virus attacked the brains of the mice, and their brains had been engineered to reflect human genetic makeup, though it remains unclear how the virus would affect humans. An epidemiology expert at University College London described the Chinese research as, quote, scientifically totally pointless, adding he could see how much stuff might go wrong. A former professor of medicine at Stanford posted the research on X, writing, "This madness must be stopped before it's too late." Risky tests aside, new information on Beijing's pandemic cover-up is gaining traction.
The Wall Street Journal reported that 2 weeks before China told the world about COVID, they knew COVID was happening, and they stayed silent. They banned travel within China, yet allowed it to continue internationally.
The report noted that when Chinese officials described the virus outbreak in Wuhan as caused by an unknown pneumonia, information about the virus was already available in China. A Chinese researcher uploaded a near-complete sequence of the virus's structure to a U.S.-run database in December 2019. Virus sequencing is key to deciphering a strain. Beijing only shared that information with the World Health Organization 2 weeks later. This 2-week window could have helped the world better respond to the pandemic. Switching gears to social media. Are your kids or grandkids using TikTok? The state of Iowa is accusing the platform of misleading parents about their children's access to inappropriate content. The state's attorney general is now suing the app and its China-owned parent company, ByteDance. Iowa Attorney General Brenna Bird alleges that TikTok lied about the prevalence of content, including drugs, nudity, alcohol, and profanity on its platform. Bird says TikTok has kept parents in the dark, adding it's time to show what kids are exposed to while scrolling. The AG is alleging consumer fraud in Wednesday's lawsuit. She's seeking financial penalties and an order barring TikTok from engaging in deceptive and unfair conduct. This is the latest of various lawsuits by a U.S. state against TikTok. Montana is still trying to implement a first-of-its-kind state ban on using the app. And in related news, an appeals court Wednesday looked at the case of a 10-year-old girl who died after attempting a TikTok challenge. The Pennsylvania girl died in 2021 after attempting the Blackout Challenge, which encouraged people to choke themselves. A lower court previously ruled that a law known as Section 230 protects TikTok in this case. The law says internet companies are not responsible for content posted by users. The family is now appealing the decision. Their lawyer says that TikTok didn't just host the deadly content, but recommended it to users through algorithms. How did China's economy grow so fast in the past? Experts say it's largely because of mass theft, stealing technology and information from various sectors, especially from the United States. Among the industries impacted, aviation, drug makers, computer processing, even farming are all on the list. Here's what witnesses told Congress in a Senate Banking Committee hearing Thursday.
China has built its economy on stealing American and allied intellectual property. Millions and billions of dollars in total of American research and development dollars walk out the back door to China every year. That research and development money is critically important to our ability to ultimately succeed in the larger economic, political, and military conflict with China. We won't win on steel. We won't win on population. We will only win if we out-innovate China and outwork China.
I'm a farmer. Self-driving tractors have been around for about 15 years. I finally got to a point where I was going to buy a piece of equipment that would allow that tractor to drive with me sitting in the cab. Every company I called was Chinese, and the people I were talking to was in mainland China. And finally, I found an American company, and you know what he told me? He said, I told him what I just told you guys, and he said, yeah, they stole our equipment and remanufactured it. We got to do something about this, and we got to remove the stupidity that's going on over at the House.
Experts say billions of dollars in American research are walking out the back door to China every year. Lawmakers are concerned about how this impacts emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence and DNA data. The future of healthcare may involve combining artificial intelligence with DNA data. Experts worry that all future therapies may come from China because of this. Its authoritarian government collects highly personal DNA data from its citizens. This does not happen in the United States.
China state media caught giving false information. Earlier, Chinese CGTV quoted the Irish Prime Minister as saying he would always support the One China principle. The leader later clarified that Ireland supports the One China policy on Taiwan, which is distinct from Beijing's One China principle. Here's the difference. The West has long agreed to maintain strategic ambiguity on the Taiwan issue, recognizing that there is only one China, but never stating that Beijing has the right to rule Taiwan. The U.S. government was first to employ the China policy toward Taiwan, and it was soon accepted by the Western world. At the same time, Beijing has been threatening to take control of Taiwan by force if necessary. One factor deterring it from invading the island is the military support it gets from Washington. Taiwan is an island situated on the first island chain, holding strategic geopolitical value for the U.S. It dominates the semiconductor manufacturing field, producing almost all of the world's most advanced microchips. The Taiwanese government has sought to maintain the status quo with China. The former government of China, the Kuomintang, moved to Taiwan after World War II, when the communists took control. There, they formed the Republic of China, the Taiwan we know today. China has ordered its first major military activity following Taiwan's presidential election. Beijing flew 18 Chinese fighter jets near Taiwan Wednesday. The warplanes carried out joint drills with warships in waters around Taiwan. Beijing regularly sends jets near Taiwan as a way to intimidate the island. The Chinese regime claims Taiwan as its own, despite never having controlled it. It also vowed to take it over by force if necessary. The regime framed Taiwan's presidential election as a choice between peace and war. Taiwan elected William Lai, who was not favored by Beijing. Back to China's warplanes, Taiwan sent its own forces to monitor the situation. Washington is also watching closely. The State Department recently urged Beijing to not use Taiwan's election as a pretext for escalation. Next, we'd like to take a moment to share some of your comments about our show. One viewer, J.A. Crypto, wrote, "It's good that NTD is still calling it the CCP virus so that the world would know what entity caused an epidemic to become a pandemic." Reports show that in late 2019, the CCP virus, which causes COVID-19, was allowed to surge due to the Chinese regime's lack of transparency and refusal to share information about the danger with the rest of the world. The Chinese Communist Party has a history of covering up virus data. Due to China's information blockade, the country's real pandemic death toll could also be much higher. Don't forget to tell us what you think of today's show. Thanks for watching. That's all for today's China in Focus on YouTube. We're now sharing a shortened version of our program here after being demonetized for more than 2 years. If you'd like to support us, consider donating. Find us at donorbox.org/China-in-focus or subscribe to our partner platform Epic TV, where you can watch our full episodes. Here's what to look out for in our second half. In a landmark decision, the European Union Parliament is taking a resolute stand against the persecution of the spiritual practice Falun Gong in China. The UK's top defense official warning of a possible World War III. He's sending a message to Britain and its allies that they must enhance their defensibility. And Washington lends Japan a hand with a major defense deal. How will the agreement shake up power in East Asia? More on that after the break here on China in Focus. Thanks for watching China in Focus. I'm Tiffany Meyer. See you tomorrow.